Welcome back. This is Deep Cut number 1. If you're just joining us, you can find the complete webinar on our YouTube channel, and that has every section all in order, ready to go. And without further ado.
So, but yeah, and I believe this is really what we're focusing on with the research report as well that's coming out, is just bridging the achievement gap. How do we get people, from believer to achiever? And let's jump in with deep cut number 1.
Yeah. So the first thing that jumped out to us when we started looking into our research had to do with this idea of getting to know your audience at a deeper level. There's a huge difference here in the way believers and achievers view the importance of knowing their audiences versus cynics. 82% of achievers strongly believed that understanding who their prospects are on a deep level is essential to their organization's marketing efforts. Nearly 3/4 of believers were in the same boat with them. Meanwhile, only a third of cynics felt the same way. To us, that's really a shocking gap. Like, the cynics are the same people out there who are saying, we're doing just fine. We're doing good customer service. We're giving a good product. We're doing right by our people. But they also aren't taking time to actually understand their customers and try to get deeper into who they are and what they want. So, when you think about not just your, the business trying to understand their customers, but also marketing agencies themselves working with the business, has that agency had a chance to know you and had a chance to know your customers? This is another thing that came up over and over and again when we heard people talking about their agency relationships, and a sticking point in those relationships was the feeling that the agencies aren't taking enough time to know them or learn about their industry or learn about their customers. And this is a really key moment. If you're in that space, the first question you might want to ask yourself is, have I given my agency time to know me? Have I given them resources to know me? Have I given them access to my sales team and my customer support team? Or have they had a chance to talk to any of my customers? If you have an agency that you're working with and you haven't given them that opportunity, then you're actually undermining that relationship by not investing in it at that deeper level. If you have an agency, of course, and you want them to do this and they're not taking the initiative, or you're giving them the resources and it hasn't changed, that's a completely different conversation. But the number one thing to do is actually bring your marketing agency up to speed and give them the access to the resources that they're asking for.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I want to, note here as well that we saw this feedback universally, really across the groups in the responses. So what's interesting is that even though, cynics here are saying that they don't feel that understanding prospects at a deeper level is essential to the organization's marketing efforts, what was interesting to me is that cynics don't not invest in marketing. They still invest in marketing. They still work with agencies even. They just kind of don't know why they're doing it. They're like, I guess I just have to do this. I don't know. Which is odd. But universally, we saw that all of these groups reported that they didn't feel that agencies were taking enough time to understand them. Some of them even were quite cynical about it, and we're basically just like, this, it's just a cash grab. They showed up, they wanted to pay a check, and they didn't take any time at all to learn about us.
All they see are dollar signs.
Yes, I think that was all they see was dollars.
It was.
But the other thing I think that's interesting is that from an agency perspective, you will sometimes feel pressure from clients to just skip to the end. People are like, results now, please. Why do we have to waste all this time on discovery? Why are we doing interviews? Can't we just get to start cranking out deliverables? And I think it's really important to resist the temptation to just do the skip to the end thing, because the same groups that go, skip to the end, just give me the product, will then turn around and go, this product doesn't look like us at all. So it really is one of these things where we kind of have to resist our own impulses a little bit to rush the process, because the process is what gets you the results that you want. And if you skip past that, whether you think you're going to be unhappy or not, the research was very clear, like you're going to be unhappy. So,
it's such a good point, Eric. And we do research in a lot of different industries, and we do it with a lot of organizations who are in the same industry. And it is important to understand an industry and how it operates and have the terminology down. And really, if you can get a specialist in your industry to help you with marketing, you're a step ahead. But beyond that, it's also really important for your agency or your internal marketing team to understand your audience, yours as an organization, and your goals and what you are trying to do. That's where differentiation comes from. Not everybody's the same. So I would agree with you. If your agency is not asking to get access to those people, is not trying to get that insight from you, it's a little bit of a red flag, because you don't want them treating you and your audience like they would any other client, because you're not. You're different.
I think there's almost a different quality of response you feel from the different mindsets when they give that answer. You get the sense that for an achiever, an agency that isn't taking that time, that's a minimum threshold. They're just not going to work with an agency who doesn't actually put that foot forward. Believers are out there, and it's this cry of despair. Why won't anyone take time to understand me? I want this, And that's why, again, believers, they have our hearts, because you can see these people who are in so much pain. They want this, but they can't find it. And I think with cynics, you just have this.
All they see is dollar signs.
With cynics, you just have this mindset of, we can't, people aren't going to take the time. And, we feel like the relationships we have that are working for us are great. And if people don't like us, they go elsewhere, and
it's not that important for us, or it's not that important for our industry or whatever. Yeah.
They've been burned. They just don't want to get hurt again. Exactly. Believers are always ready to get hurt again.
So I think that, in terms of key takeaways, we've already talked here a bit about investing in getting to know your audience, not just for yourself, but for your agencies as well. Invest in having your agencies get to know your audience. And if they aren't, find a new agency. But the other ones you can think about are, talking to your sales and customer success teams more. Increasing the cohesion between those teams. The first thing that we do when we come on with a company, and I hope that you have this experience out there as well. If you're working with an agency, or if you're wondering how you can get this to happen, like, this is the step you can follow. Sit down and have your marketing team talk to your customer success team. Have them talk to your sales team. Have a delegation be part of your key meetings that are going on there. When I say,
not just at the start, keep those those conversations going throughout the life of your marketing.
It doesn't have to be the whole team's uniting every single week, right? But like, if you have, one person from marketing, from sales, one person from customer success join a monthly marketing meeting, or someone from marketing is in on those sales meetings, that there's this interflow that goes on, so that people actually get to kind of hear the conversations that are happening and take part in it. And there's so much that I learn as a marketer from being able to ask some questions directly. The first thing I do when I talk to someone in a customer success team is ask them, what are your frequently asked questions? What are people always coming to you and wanting to learn more about? Are they asked, what questions keep coming up? What pain points they keep bringing up with you? How do you help them the most? And then when I talk to sales, the question is, what are the pain points that you hear from prospects? And when you're telling them about the core benefits of your product, what sparks their interest fastest? Like, when do their eyes light up? Because, I can sit down and imagine a list of core benefits that I think people would like, but the sales team knows what sells. And that's where I want to start with. And rolling a bit deeper into that, conducting interviews and building case studies, getting to know customers and showing off how well you know their story. The more you have, if you really have a close relationship with your customers, the opportunity to actually sit down with them and say, we want to talk about how great this partnership has been and put that out there for other people to see, can have beneficial, effects for both teams. It can take some time to build that together, but it is a key resource, and you can actually get a lot of what you need just by sitting down and having some interviews between people, asking them some right questions, and putting their story out there. And there's nothing that other customers feel better about than getting on your website and seeing that you have a case study written about someone just like them that showcases all the time you actually put into that relationship. When I said earlier about stop saying, trust me, just tell your story, that's what I mean.
Awesome.
Perfection.
Thank you. Anyone else got that there?
I mean, you covered it pretty well.
Yeah, you hit everything I was thinking
Nailed
about.
it.
Thank you for watching. That was Deep Cut number 1. Stay tuned for Deep Cut number 2. If you're watching on our playlist, it should come right up. And if not, you can find the whole playlist right in our YouTube channel. And down in the content description, you'll find helpful links like the PDF of the full report, the quiz, the data viz tool, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.